oil change on a 300ZX, the twins car. So we have our 10W40 Motul 80s line, which is exactly what this car needs. It's what that oil was made for.
Yeah, but this car is a 91. Why should I put the 80s in it?
Well, because that technology came out in the 80s fast lane, Doug. And this is for modern classic young timers, which the Z32 is.
We have our crush washer, service interval sticker, and an oil filter. So first thing first, as with any oil change, strain the oil. You don't need a button on your lift, but it helps. It helps. Wheels in the sky keep on turning. So, cool thing about the Z1 300ZX undershroud is, I don't know if you're familiar with our other undershrouds, there's like a little service panel that you can remove to get to everything. You don't need it on this one, because check this out. All this here, undershroud stays here, and then the oil pan is actually tucked up behind it. So, no need. So we got our oil drain. Raise, oh, that was almost bad. Raise this guy up and see if I can do this without getting too messy. Man, whoever changed the oil on this did a great job. That plug was like perfectly tight. It was Kyle. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, she's a little dark. It does smell like fuel a little bit, which this car actually doesn't get driven a lot. Like, we're not changing the oil due to like mileage or anything. We do it based on time because it is a show car. We drive it occasionally, but last time we checked it, it smelled a little bit like fuel, maybe some injector O-rings getting pinched, or maybe a fouled out injector. No misfire or anything, car's running fine. But yeah, if you check your oil and you smell fuel, probably a good time, because that fuel will break down the oil and, you know, it won't do anything anymore. That's how you ruin an engine. All right, so normally this is the point where you would pull that old copper crush washer off. You know, just grab a pick or flathead, because it does not want to come off with my fingers. But we actually can throw this guy away, because we're going to put in a Z1 stainless steel magnetic drain plug, and all of these come with new crush washers. Trash can. What do we say?
Throw it away.
All right, so we're down to like barely a trickle here. So new plug, which it's magnetic, so it wants to stick to the pan. So you just gotta kind of have to work it in there. Oh, there it goes. Cool. Clean off all the old oil, and grab your 14 mil and tighten her back down. And then you're gonna want to keep going. You'll get a little bit of resistance as you collapse that crush washer. All good. Do not over tighten your drain plug. Just probably one little boop. There you go. That's all she needs. On to the oil filter. Oil filter. So should come off by hand. Same thing. There's little ridges around if you need an oil filter wrench, if it like is on there super tight, but there we go. Ooh, she drippy. Probably should have wore gloves, huh? Go let that guy drain out for a second, get some brake clean it off, and then we'll start adding oil. We're almost there. All right. Little messy, not a big deal. Almost there. There we go. Yummy. So let that guy sit there and drain upside down for a little bit. get that harness cleaned off, kind of clean up all that excess oil, and then we will prime our new oil filter. So now we come to always the most controversial part of any oil change. Do you need to prime the oil filter before you install it? I've seen everybody say no. I've seen people say yes. I've seen people say you can if you want, it's personal preference, really doesn't matter that much. I personally do. Let's see what everybody else says. Kyle, you do oil changes. Do you put oil in the filter before you install it?
Yes.
We'll keep counting down below. Hey, you guys have done oil changes. Do you put oil in the oil filter before you install it?
No. Yes.
Okay, so there you go. Spaghetti, where are you? Here he is. Of course, Spaghetti Earl is aligning his drift car. Have you ever done an oil change?
I think so.
Do you put oil in the oil filter before you install it?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's keep going. John,
What up?
have you ever done an oil change?
No.
Do you put oil in the oil filter before you install it?
I don't know. I've never done an oil change.
This
I only drive.
guy. Come on, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going.
We got a yes.
Sales and marketing director,
Yeah. Volume.
Matthew.
What's up?
Have you ever done an oil change?
Yes,
Do you put oil in the oil filter before you install it?
I do.
Joel,
Yeah.
do you put oil in the oil filter before you install it?
It depends on the angle the oil filter sits at. If it's a sideways mounted oil filter, there's no point. It's just going to spill out while you're screwing it on. If it's a vertical mounted oil filter, yes, fill that bad boy up.
Well, what about soaking the media in there with oil?
That doesn't do anything.
Matt Yates, have you ever done an oil change?
Yes.
Do you put oil in the oil filter before you install it?
Yes.
I changed the oil on my Cadillac the other day.
Did you put oil in the filter before you installed it?
Yes.
So he doesn't just drive like he said. Engineers usually have pretty strong opinions, and technical ones at that. So let's see what they say. Chris, have you ever changed your oil?
Yes.
Do you put oil in the oil filter before you install it?
I try to.
+1 for faithfulness.
Sometimes it's sideways, so it doesn't really work very well.
Now we got the Joel Williams answer. There you go. Cool. Thanks. Everybody's in a call today. God, it's like people actually work around here. Hey, Sean, you gonna align that Sea-Doo after the brickyard? You gonna align the Sea-Doo after the brickyard? Jesus, how does it make you feel to be the only person that has said no? Kelly, have you ever done an oil change?
Yes.
Do you put oil in the oil filter before you install it?
Always prime an oil filter.
Service manager says so. Everything. Fair enough. Peter, have you ever changed oil?
Yes, I have.
Do you put oil in the oil filter before you install it?
I do.
That's overwhelming majority. So we're gonna put oil in the oil filter. All right, so got a little bit of oil. We'll just rub it around the seal because I did clean the mating surface, so it is kind of dry, just to make sure we get a good seal. And now let's grab some of that Motul 80s 1040, right? These are mounted just straight down, so you can fill it to the brim and then install it, no issues. Like what a couple of guys said, like Chris Blair and Joel Williams, if it's vertical, that doesn't really work, but you can always be a little proactive. This does not want to come out. There it goes. And watch. So empty oil filter, right? Nothing in it. What we'll do is just put a little bit in there. And I'll fill it up. You know, like 3/4 of the way. This is a hefty oil filter. There we go, now I can start to see it, and we'll pull that off. That's sketchy. Let's put that cap on just to be sure, just to be safe. I don't want to clean up a big mess. So you guys just saw, right? Like, just put it in there. I'll just kind of roll it around on the inside. And I don't know if you can get that, Dave, but almost all that oil is gone. Like, there's a little bit down there at the bottom. And I just put a large amount of oil in this. The Z32 has a very hefty oil filter. And yeah, it's like almost all gone. So if it is a side mount, even if it's a top mount oil filter where it's actually upside down, you can benefit from filling it up, letting it all soak for a second, and then top it off a little bit more and then put it in. So now we'll do this one more time and thread this bad boy on. There we go. Cool. Oil filter up. Just kind of push this harness out of the way. And thread her right on. Just like that. And again, your oil filter, just like your drain plug, does not have to be too tight. Like, that is more than fine. Definitely better to go a little loose and end up maybe with a drip than to go too tight, strip it out, or get that thing so wedged on there, you're beating with it, probably tearing it apart, trying to take it off. I've been there, it sucks. Cool, so oil filter's on, drain plug's on. I'm gonna hit this area with a little bit of brake clean just to clean up any extra oil that I may have missed, and then we can go up top and fill it. Little brake clean action.
What? What did you say?
So all cleaned up, good to go. Let's set her down and fill it up. All right. So engine bay, remove your billet Z1 oil cap. Boop. Set to the side. And now grab your spill-proof Z1 funnel. That just threads right into the valve cover. Has an O-ring seal, so no worries about putting too much in it. And capacity. Let's see if Kyle knows. Kyle? 5.5. 5.5? 5.5?
That's what I was gonna say.
So these Motul 80s comes in 2 liters. We already used probably about a quarter of this one. So we'll use 2. This 3 would be 6. We need less than that. Yeah, 2.5. Glug, 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 glug.
I don't know, ask Austin. What was the Great Depression like?
Where's the dipstick?
There it is.
It's tucked behind these vacuum lines. All right, so 5.5 quarts is actually, it's like 1.1 quart for every liter. So I did the math, 5.5 quarts is 2.6 of these jugs. So we got 0.6 on the first one because it was already open, and then now another 2, so that should be perfect. Good. All right, so engine's filled. It's been sitting for a few minutes. Let's put the oil cap back on. Bing. Let's pull this dipstick. Make sure we're at a good level. Man, these dipsticks are so much better than DEs. How did they have it right before and then they got it wrong later? I don't know. Actually, I do know. because the DE was originally designed to be a front wheel drive engine, and then they ended up putting it in a rear wheel drive car, which is why it's like all angled and all weird, because if it's turned sideways, it's actually right in front of you.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's really why.
It was supposed to be front.
Yeah,
wheels
that's why
drive?
there's DE like Maximas and stuff.
All right.
All right, so let's see.
Yeah, because that.
Spot on. Exactly where it should be. So let's, while she's still in the lift, start it up, let it circulate and everything. We'll look underneath, make sure there's no leaks, and if not, we're good to go. We have oil pressure.
Oh, you did something right.
Right? Listen to that. No tick, no knock, nothing. Just, she's good. Not bad for 134,000 miles. I'm gonna give it a good look underneath. I see no drips. Oh, I think we're good. Cool. Everything out, dipstick in, cap on, tools are out, and we're all good. That's how easy it is to change your oil on the Nissan 300ZX. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on what how-to video you would like to see next.